After that, the
Friday Night Sports Bar and the Midweek Sporting Roundup with Dom Aldworth are brought to you by 2bet2, the latest sports prediction game on Facebook. Log on to facebook.com/2bet2, register and collect 2,000 BB dollars absolutely free. Friday Sports Bar with Dom Aldworth.
MotoGP fans, round 3 from Estoril this weekend. Dani Pedrosa won the race last year. 4 podium finishes for Dani in Estoril. It's a circuit he goes really well at. He's a double world champion at the 250cc class and a world champion at the 125cc. 100 starts in MotoGP, 15 wins on a Repsol Honda since 2006. Yesterday, Dani took time out to talk to me ahead of the race. A big race for him this weekend if he wants to establish his championship credentials this season. Stay tuned and listen to what Dani had to say to me on Talk Radio Europe Sports. Dani, we just must begin the interview, if I may. Just give the listeners out there a little bit of insight into your early days. I always find it fascinating how, as professional sportsmen, get into their field. Of course, you come from a small town up north, Sabadell. How did you get into motorsport?
Basically, my first bike, it was when I was maybe 3 years old, and that came because my father was. He enjoyed riding motorcycles on Sundays. He was not professional or anything like competition, but just enjoying the motorbikes. And I always, from the very beginning, I wanted to go on the bike with him. And as soon as I could get some mini bike or something like this, I started riding bikes. At first was mini motocross. I don't know the name exactly, but it was a very small motocross bike, and just I started because my father was riding.
And Dani, of course, you're now at the top level of the sport in MotoGP, but just leading up to that, you went through the respective classes, 1, 2, 5. You enjoyed some good success there, but it really was at the 250cc class from 04 to 05, a double world champion. How did you know that your next step was going to be MotoGP at that stage? How did you know that you were going to be ready?
Well, basically, I didn't expect at the beginning of my career I would be so successful. And once I won the 125 title and then the 250, all 3 in a row, I was really I didn't know what way to choose. If already move so early to MotoGP or stay one more year into 50, but already I was double champion, so I thought it was time to move. And obviously at that stage I was very young. I was, I think, 20 years old. And when I came to MotoGP so early, it was hard because, you crash hard and sometimes you get a little bit afraid. But, well, it was my time to do it, and I think it was a correct decision.
And, of course, at that particular time as well, there were many pundits out there that said Dani Pedrosa was going to be too small for the powerful motorcycle. You obviously proved them wrong, and very early in 2006 as well. Dani, plenty of injuries in this particular sport. It is a very dangerous sport. You endured a very frustrating year last year. But just give me a little bit of insight. I mean, when you guys are going off the bike at those sort of speeds and you're suffering these horrendous injuries at times, how do you deal with the comeback mentally?
Well, basically, at the beginning, when you don't know or you don't have any bad experience in your memory, it's not so tough because you crash and you are not so afraid of crashing or getting hurt. But once you get one time really injured and another time, and especially if they are close together, it's very tough mentally because you get very stressed it's you cannot recover your good energy, and all the time you are dealing with injuries or doctors, hospitals, medicines, and it's very hard to come back strong on the bike and again do it good with trust and confidence on yourself. So yeah, basically when you are away from these things, you are performing every time better.
And Dani, clearly last season was very frustrating, certainly for me as a Repsol and a Dani Pedrosa and Casey Stoner fan, which I am. The Hondas were extremely quick last year, you and Casey. Very frustrating for you. Came back from injury and only to lose it again. I think it was in the French Grand Prix. How frustrating was 2011 for you personally?
Pretty frustrating, I tell you, because I started on October 2010 with an injury, and I had to deal with that injury all the winter through the testing. First race, second race, I think in 6 months I had 4 surgeries. So really, I was done with it. I thought it was over, and then in the next 2 weeks in France again, and I lost the chance of getting the points for the championship, and yeah, that basically hurt a lot, and I at that time I need the rest mentally to recover and get some energy to come back.
It makes one wonder how far you would have gone had you hadn't been injured. It was a 4th place finish for you in the championship, Dani, but that's all in the past. What's in the future? Well, certainly a good start to 2012 for you. Second place finish and a 3rd place finish, 3rd in the championship overall. This is a massive weekend for you, Dani. You got a 1st place finish in Estoril last year. It's a circuit that you've done very well in the past. I think in 6 years you've got 4 podium finishes, if I'm correct in saying. What is it that makes Estoril obviously a circuit that you clearly like riding on?
Basically, yeah, it's a good weekend here. I think it's important always to be on top, riding against Lorenzo and Stoner. So you need really to do well. And here in Estoril, in the past, we did good races, but again, you must keep focused. These guys are riding quite strong, so you must be on the pace and not making the mistakes. Basically, the important thing in this race is to go through the steps every session, keep cool, and try on Sunday to perform well, because sure the points are there for the lead, and I hope to do well again in this track.
Dani, step up in class again this year on the MotoGP bikes, 1000 cc's. How have you found that?
For me, it's more. I have more fun riding it. The torque of the engine, makes the bike a little better out of the corners. You can spin the tire more, and the wheel is a lot more. So basically, the bike is more enjoyable, but obviously also has some negative points, like the weight over change directions or even in the braking. It makes it more tough physically. So you must be really prepare to ride these bikes for 45 minutes at your maximum level. But as I told you, for me, the riding is more funny.
Dani, listen, I know it's a massive weekend, not only of racing for you, but of media commitments. One last question before you go, if I may. We obviously get to see you guys at the circuit taking on each other week in, week out. Dani Pedrosa away from MotoGP. What do you like to do to relax? Are you a football fan? Is Barcelona close to your heart?
Yeah, but I love Barcelona. I'm not a very football, such a huge fan of football, but I watch the big games like Champions League or the finals or something like this with my friends, and yeah, it's time to have some louds and get along your friends or family. So to recover your energy, to be ready for the next one. If you are at home thinking on motorbikes all the time, you are burned after a few weeks. So yeah, at home I just like to do different things. I love cinema also, and just bicycle. I enjoy a lot driving out and listening to some music when I'm doing it. So yeah, just doing different things.
Well, listen, Danny, we've had enough of your time. I'm ever so grateful. I know there's a lot of MotoGP fans that tune into my show every Friday, and of course, even though they're expats living here in Spain, they do support you. I'm a big fan of yours. Best of luck for this weekend and for the remainder of the season. I certainly hope that you can remain injury-free and give the top two lads a real good challenge there for the MotoGP season, and best of luck for this weekend.
Thank you. I hope I can have a good luck for this year and do good. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thank you.
Great stuff there from Dani Pedrosa in Estoril this weekend, looking to win the race for the second consecutive year. Best of luck for the weekend, Danny, and sincere thanks to you and your team for allowing me the opportunity.